Alright, welcome everyone to Marat's Kitchen today again. We are cooking. We are cooking again, and we're cooking with the simple basic foods. Today as the ingredients we will have one cabbage, we will have one onion, we will have a bunch of fresh cilantro, and we will have about over a pound of ground beef. It says that's 1.1 pounds, so almost 1 pound. So and we're cooking today the dish called Golubzi. It's a traditionally Ukrainian or Russian dish which is highly appreciated and very satisfying to the stomach. We'll begin the cooking with putting the whole cabbage into the boiling water. Okay, and we'll let it boil there for around 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I also cooking some rice on a separate stove. If you have a rice cooker, that's great. If you don't have it, you can boil it in a regular pot. Around about 1 cup, 1.5 cup of rice will be enough for our dish. So it's already cooking in my rice cooker, so I will just set it outside. And the next step, we're just going to be slicing and chopping our onion and fresh cilantro. Okay, I'm chopping my onions. Ideally, they need to be chopped as small pieces as possible. So what we do in Russia, we have so-called мясорубка, or the special kitchen combine, which pretty much crushes and smashes every vegetables or onions or even meat. So in our case, we're just going to be taking a while of chopping the onions as small as possible. Alright, we're finishing up with chopping our onion. By the way, one of the secrets I've learned how to not to cry during the chopping of onions is to whistle. So if you whistle during the chopping of onions, the air which comes up from the onions is actually getting dissolved and you don't cry. Okay, same thing, same chopping process we will do with our fresh cilantro. Okay, we are finishing up with our cilantro and we're adding it to one bowl where we mixing all together the chopped onions we have and cilantro. Next is we will add our pre-cooked rice. I cooked it in the rice maker. It actually don't have to be cooked all the way down. It's enough to cook it for a while just to soften the rice. We're adding it into our bowl as well. And the next step and the last step is to add the meat, the ground beef we've got. Okay. There we go. And I will put just salt and pepper. That's all of the spices we're gonna use. Unfortunately, I don't have any measurements for salt and pepper for you. Okay, it looks like our cabbage is about done in our boiling process. We will leave it for a while, a little bit more, let it boil, and we will mix our goodness of chopped cilantro, onion, rice, black pepper, and salt. You can do it either with your hands or with your spoons or whatever else you have. I would like to use my hands, so I call this part of the cooking is mixing with my hands. We're back in our kitchen, and this is our boiled cabbage. And let me explain you guys why. The reason why we have boiled the cabbage is that to soften it, please. The reason is we're going to wrap our mixture of rice and meat and onions and all good stuff we made into these leaves. So when you boil the cabbage and give it some time boiling in the water, the leaves getting softened, and thus they easily coming apart from the cabbage. So what you do is you take a spoon of your mixture of meat and rice, and you try to make little pockets or rubs of that cabbage with meat and setting aside. There you go. We're giving another one. See how easily it's coming up because it's been boiled. Alright, another spoon of goodness and another wrap. There you go. Little stock of wrapped meat in cabbage leaves, and what I noticed is by coming closer to the center of the cabbage, the leaves were not as soft, so that means my cabbage hasn't been boiled enough. So if you experience the same problem, just let it boil for a while, or just try to wrap it in the harder leaves. But what we have in here, it will be enough for both of us, Rebecca and me. So we're going to go ahead and cook what we have. And what we're going to do, we're going to just use the same pot I boiled my cabbage and stack, nicely stack my wraps. So there you go. This is my first layer. And what I'm going to do after I laid my first layer of wraps, I'm going to pour some crushed tomatoes on top. You can use water. You can steam them in the water, but I'd like to use some crushed tomatoes because it gives some more flavor as well as some more color to the dish. So I'm going to finish it up with adding the rest of my guys. Right, so we have cooked our Golubzi for around 40-50 minutes. The last 10-15 minutes I cooked it on a very low temperature. So then we are ready to taste them. This beauty. A couple pieces for myself, and of course any Golubzi should be eaten with sour cream. And I'm going to go ahead and try this wonderful beautiful dish. That's called the goodness of home-made cooking. Thank you guys for watching.